Hey guys, Brendan Nikala from Dynamic Nutrition. So we just got back in from training, and just thought we'd do a quick sort of video on which sort of I had a few thoughts actually while I was training. Front squats today, super heavy compound exercise. And while I was under the bar, sounds cranking, I just sort of all of a sudden started thinking about what was kind of motivating me to get under here and push that hard. And sort of, yeah, it's interesting because obviously we all find things that different things that motivate us.
At different times too.
At different times, yep, exactly. And you know, I was kind of thinking for me, I was like, what is it that's sort of motivating me here to do this and try and beat that weight from last time and beat those reps and that type of thing. And I was thinking, is it the other competitors out there that I have to compete with? And, I kind of thought about a few people and that type of thing. And I was like, that doesn't motivate me. And then I thought, what is it that's kind of really pushing me to sort of get in here and get the shit done? And really, at the end of the day, it's just the motivation just comes from being better than I was last time and having to beat myself every time I get under that bar or get up on that stage. Ultimately, what we're doing, is working towards the stage and that type of thing. So every sort of training has to count in that sort of aspect. But when we sort of sat down here and afterwards and we're sort of talking about it, it was like, it's kind of like like with the New Year's resolution and that type of thing, and that's probably the reason, that's probably the problem with why these things kind of don't stick, because just because it's a new year, that
you have to make a New Year's resolution too.
Yeah,
There's no meaning behind them sometimes.
Yeah, there's just nothing to it. It's 2018, cool. This year I'm going to do this, this and this. But if you don't really give a fuck about why you're going to do it, or there's nothing deep down that's kind of anchoring you to want that, the want there, then the motivation just isn't there. So you've kind of really got to dig in super deep and find the reason behind the why, I suppose, your why that's going to give you that drive to achieve what you want. Quite an interesting point that Nikala brought up too was that we were talking about our last comp prep and that type of thing, and how, when the hard times, sometimes you lose the motivation.
Sometimes, and that's why I said before too, it's what motivates you at that point in time. Because when we were doing that last show, what Brendan was just about to say, that I said the other day, is that the motivation for Brendan as well, which he just said, is going in there knowing that you want to be better than you were last time. Sometimes when you're feeling like shit, and everyone has those days no matter what the goal is, you'll think about that thought and go, that's what I want to achieve, and it'll be what breaks you. It'll be, I can't achieve it. And so it's finding, I suppose, other ways to look at it and other things that'll motivate you to keep going when you feel like that about your goals. Because whether you're trying to lose a couple of kilos, or whether it's trying to put muscle on, or with us getting better than we were last time with our shows, you still have your days where, I suppose it's kind of the motivation is not your motivation anymore.
Yeah, where it just kind of peters out a bit. And yeah, I suppose in those moments and those times is that it sort of comes back again to really wanting that goal and hanging on to it and sort of being consistent, and almost like it gets a little bit kind of like you're just dragging your ass for a couple of days or a week or so, but you have to keep going through the process. I think that's important too, is because there was lots of things that we could have done different in our prep and that type of thing, and there was lots of ideas we had for other things that we could have incorporated at certain points to change things up and that sort of shit. But I think the bane of it all is sticking to the process and trusting in the process, and knowing that, okay, cool, this is what I need to do right now. You know, there's all these sort of other ideas and stuff coming in externally that I'm sort of taking on board, but really I just need to stick with what I'm doing and trust that it's going to work. Yeah, it comes back to, and that comes back to everything, like especially with dieting and, you know, losing weight and building muscle and all those types of things. Like they're a consistency thing, and you know, like it's just going through that process, being consistent, staying focused, staying committed. When you're feeling a bit shit, just sort of dragging yourself through it, and really wanting that goal, you know, at the end of the day. So, yeah, have a little bit of a think about sort of what really motivates you and why you want something. Look back at your life and think of the things that you've achieved, and I'm sure there'll be a moment that you can sort of recognize, or where it just kind of clicked for you, and that want became a must or a need, and you stuck to the process and followed through and achieved your goal.
The other thing that's really important too, and it's with everybody, including like all of you, is that there's no right or wrong as to what your goal might be or what drives you. If it is, like Brennan said before, you're looking at doing a show or something like that, or even it might just be to lose 10 kilos. If your goal is to, and your motivation is to prove someone else wrong, it's not wrong. It probably isn't going to get you to that end goal, because when you're by yourself and you're feeling down and you're having those moments of doubt, there's probably a part of you that's going to be like, well, fuck, that's not enough to keep me going. But if that's what your motivation is, there's no right or wrong to it. Just find what it is that's going to make you want to keep going, and stick towards your goals, because no one else can make that for you or tell you what that is either.
Yeah, just stick to your guns and stay true to the process, and good things take time, commitment, and
especially with this
persistence. Especially with the body. So yeah, I think the other thing too is that we generally tend to give up when we're so close to cracking it. So just keep on keeping on, and cool. Cheers.
See ya.